Welcome back to another episode of Pepe's Point of View. I'm your favorite host, your favorite R&B historian, and your favorite music critic, Pepe. Today you're in for a treat. Actually, every day you're in for a treat. Over here, we're talking about the undisputed king of Southern Soul, Sir Charles Jones. And I think after this review, he would have a new title. You have to stick around towards the end of this video, towards the end of my review, to find out what that new title is that I'm actually giving him. And also, I'm probably going to try to convince the brother to not totally retire from the business. All right, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Charles Jones, the king of Southern Soul, announced on his Facebook page October the 14th, 2024. He says that, well, he's retiring. It's official. I announced my retirement, he says, and I promise to give every major city one last show starting in January for my farewell tour. Now, when I came across this initially, I was a little taken aback. I have to tell you guys, I really was. And here's the reason why I was taken aback. And it's definitely no disrespect, but for me, all of this time, I was thinking that, Sir Charles Jones really hadn't released a lot of music since his album in 2002, his second release in 2002, Love Machine. So I was like, okay, wow, he's retiring. Let me do a Sir Charles Jones review. To my surprise, this brother right here, he is like 12, 13 albums into this thing, okay? And so that made me wonder, like, why haven't I heard much about Sir Charles? Well, I'm pretty sure one reason why I haven't heard a lot about Sir Charles Jones after the Love Machine album is because I'm not a fan of Southern Soul music. I hear it all the time around, some of my friends and my parents and so on and so forth. But I hear it, but it's not like I'm saying, who is that? Whose song is that? I hear it and I just keep on moving. So maybe I have heard a Sir Charles Jones song being played after the Love Machine album, and I just never really thought too much about it. But anyway, so for those of you who don't know who Sir Charles is, allow me to introduce the brother to you, all right? But before I do that, I just want to welcome you new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. And for those of you who are new, hopefully you'll stick around to the end of this video and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the share button. I want to thank you in advance for your support. As well as I want to explain to you what it is that I do. Well, I just review your favorite artists' music of today and yesterday, okay? And every now and then, I might dish out the dirt on who dropped kicked who in these entertainment streets. Every now and then, I might do that. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. So allow me to give you some background information on Sir Charles Jones. Where he's from, or rather he was born in Akron, Ohio, and his family moved to Birmingham, Alabama, at an early age, when he was in an early age of his, life. Sorry about that. Sir Charles Jones taught himself how to produce, arrange, as well as play music, and eventually he found himself under the tutelage of Marvin Cease. That's right, that Marvin Cease. His style of music ranges from jazz to fusion and from gospel to blues. His first album was released in 2000. His self-titled album was released in 2000. Then he released his second critically acclaimed album, Love Machine, in 2002. Now, that album spent 57 weeks, sorry about that, on the U.S. Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums chart. It charted at number 28. Initially, the album sold 300,000 copies, but I'm pretty sure today that album definitely has to be a gold album by now. I would like to think so. Not only that, as I said before, he has continued to release albums throughout his career. As I said, I counted about 12 albums and I listened to them all. He's known for the hit, Is There Anybody Lonely, from the Love Machine album. And he has been crowned the king of Southern Soul. Not only that, American Blues Network he, according to the American Blues Network, he has been uh, honored as the International Entertainer of the Year for 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, and Album of the Year 2002 and 2003. He's also the recipient of the B.B. King Achievement Award in 2002 and 2003. Wow. Now, whoa, that was a lot. But anyway, now when I listened to Sir Charles's album the first time, and I had to go in with like a clear mind because from the beginning, as I said before, I knew he had released an album previously to the Love Machine album. And so I was like, okay, I need to go in here with like a fresh set of ears. I was thinking that I wasn't going to be interested in Sir Charles after the fact because, again, I just didn't hear anything from him after that. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you guys, this brother is definitely the king of Southern Soul. And I'm going to have to listen to some other Southern Soul singers as well, just to see if they can stand up to what this guy has been able to deliver throughout all of these years. So he definitely has earned the title King of Southern Soul. I feel like it. Now, of course, you know how I do it over here. And like most people who cover music, and not only most people who cover music, but when you're in the business, in entertainment, or whenever you're doing anything, people feel the need to want to compare you to other artists, other athletes, other musicians, so on and so forth. It's like, what kind of style do you fit into? Who do you think you most compare to, so on and so forth? And listen to Sir Charles's music. I'm here to tell you guys, if you really truly just listen to him, it's hard to put this brother in a category. I don't think that he's a Southern Soul singer. I don't. However, I get the feeling that he's comfortable in Southern Soul music. I think if you ask him, he would probably say he's a Southern Soul singer. And he takes different, I guess, styles of music, genres of music, and he incorporates it into where he feels most comfortable, and that's Southern Soul. This is the reason why I feel like he's not as big of an artist that he should be, because when you look and see some of the things that he's been doing musically throughout his career, and you really listen to his music, you're like, wait a minute, Sir Charles, I understand you're the king of Southern Soul, but for some apparent reason, you should be a bigger name than what you are. You shouldn't just be the king of Southern Soul. Okay. Now, so there I am. I'm trying to figure out where to place Sir Charles. Like, who can I kind of say that he's like, so on and so forth. And there I am saying to myself as I'm listening to his music, I'm like, okay, I hear Bobby Womack, Jerry Levert, Tyrone Davis, ZZ Hill, Zapp and Roger, Keith Sweat. I know that's definitely Stevie Wonder. Alexander O'Neal, Anthony Hamilton, Charlie Wilson. So there I am as I am listening to his music, and I promise you, and I'm going to give you some examples of where I think that he is influenced. Like, where do I hear Anthony Hamilton? Where do I hear, Jerry Levert? I can give you some of those songs. And then as I am thinking about it, I'm like, no, I've removed all of them out of the way except for two. And I was like, no, my brother, no. My brother is definitely, he's not in that category at all with those singers. And it came down to two, Jerry Levert and Alexander O'Neal. I was like, this is where this brother is right now. This is where I'm feeling like this is where he is. He is definitely one of the two. As I move it over towards Alexander O'Neal, I'm like, nah, I don't know. I really want him to be Alexander O'Neal so bad. But I'm like, he's not Alexander O'Neal. He's definitely not Alexander O'Neal, because for me, Alexander O'Neal, he's very gritty. There's something nitty gritty about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's rough. He's raw. Alexander O'Neal is. He's kind of tough and rugged. You know, like, he's definitely in your face. You know, Alexander O'Neal to me has an attitude, you know, in his music. Like, listen, when he told that lady she was a fake, he meant every single word of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has an attitude. Alexander O'Neal does. So I was like, I'm going to move him out the way. So there I am, though, as I'm still listening. I still want to push him over into Alexander O'Neal. I want him to be Alexander O'Neal so bad in his music. And that's when I find that Sir Charles kind of comes up short every now and then. Allow me to explain. Whew. Lyrically, the things that Sir Charles sings about, the person he is, he seems to be more towards Gerald Levert, okay? And for those of you who are a Gerald Levert fan, you probably go like, yeah, he's right on the money with this one. Why do I say that? Because Gerald Levert is he's very vulnerable. He is not ashamed to be vulnerable in his music. He's not ashamed to talk about his love for family. He's not afraid to tell you about what he's going through. You know, when you talk about, you're taking my kids, you're taking my money, you're just taking everything, you know. But at the same time, Gerald Levert is like, hey, I'm a good dude. I messed up, but baby, hold on to me, type of thing. But then, you know, Gerald Levert is the kind of guy like, you know what? All right, babe, it's time to get out on the night on the town. You know what I'm saying? Let's just, you know, let's forget about the work day. The work day is over with. Like, you know, let's just go out and pop some bottles and things like that. Gerald Levert is also the kind of guy who's not afraid to talk about his love, as I said, for family, especially his father. You know, he has an album out, you know, Father and Son, and Gerald Levert definitely had a love for his father and a love for family. He did. And Gerald Levert definitely had a love for the ladies, and the ladies definitely had a love for him. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, and what does that have pertain to Sir Charles. So there it is. And so when I'm listening to Sir Charles's music, that's what I'm getting. I mean, this man in his music, he definitely loves his mom. And you can probably almost guarantee there's a song on the album talking about how much he loves his mom. Secondly, he talks about his love for God, his love for family, how he's messed up, I guess how he's a love machine. There's a song on there that he talks about going out on having a good time, but he's talking about partying responsibly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's when I start to say that he leans more towards a Gerald Levert type of artist to me. And I feel comfortable with that. Like, some of you guys who probably know a little more about your Southern soul singers, you could probably compare him more to. But I definitely don't see him being a Marvin Cease. I don't see him being like the Bobby Blue Blends, the ZZ Hill, the Tyrone Davis. I don't think he's any of those guys. I feel like he's most comfortable singing Southern soul music, but he's not just singing what those typical storylines within Southern soul, you know, music is, you know, all about. Sometimes he, you know, tries to stretch himself some. Okay, so there that is. So I'm convinced he and Gerald Levert are pretty much the same. So if anybody wants to compare him to another artist, I think it's safe to say Gerald Levert. But now, you know, every now and then I like to, you know, do a story. You know, if I have a story to tell about some of the artists I cover that, you know, kind of involves me, I like to do that as well. And so I want to do that kind of like with Sir Charles, because I have a Sir Charles story, Jones story, believe it or not. I mentioned previously about the Love Machine album, all right? And every artist really wants to have what you call that breakthrough album and that breakthrough song. I'm also discovering there's a difference between having a breakthrough album, like having a hit album, as well as having a hit songs. Those are hit songs. Two different things, believe it or not. Two different things, okay? And I go back to talk about the Pointer Sisters as I am reviewing the Pointer Sisters music as well. Like from the very beginning, those ladies hit as far as the album is concerned, okay? The album is concerned. But they really didn't have those hits until later on. So you can have a gold album and not necessarily have a hit song, And so that's kind of like the feel that I get with Sir Charles. But he has the hit album, he has the hit songs off of that album. And for the most part, that can definitely sustain your career. So when I'm saying that, I didn't hear too much from out of Sir Charles Jones after that, is because I just didn't follow the genre of music. And I would definitely would have heard more from him. But the thing that I'm going with this is that the story I want to tell is picture it. It's 2002, and the Love Machine album has dropped. And I think everybody can agree that when that Love Machine album dropped and everybody was listening to it, it was pretty much like you got off on Friday, you would listen to Sir Charles's song Friday when you're getting off work because it's Friday. You would get ready to go out to the club listening to that song. When you get into the car to go to the club, you're listening to Sir Charles's album. And when you get to the club, they're playing Sir Charles Jones' album, the Love Machine album. You couldn't go anywhere without that album being played. And everybody loved that album. And I'm here to tell you, cut for cut, the Love Machine album is definitely an artistic gem. It is that. I like every single song on the album. And it's always good to be able to hit the play button and just allow the album to play through. Like you're not skipping any songs on the album, at least for me. Just let it play. Now, every artist definitely wants to have that album. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. When I think about Sir Charles Jones's Love Machine album, and I don't think I'm stretching it at all, I think about Luther Vandross in the Night I Fell in Love album, and Freddie Jackson. What's the name of the Rock Me Tonight album, right? That was the name of the album, For Old Time's Sake. I think about that album. I think about Keith Sweat and Make It Last Forever. I think about R. Kelly's 12 Play. I'm thinking about Usher's Confessions. You see where I'm going with this? That album is like the album. It's the must-have album that everybody is definitely saying, man, do you have that album? Have you heard that album? And that's exactly what that experience was like for me when that Love Machine album dropped. Everybody loved it. Everybody talked about it. You couldn't go anywhere without people saying, do you know who Sir Charles is? Have you heard of Sir Charles? So on and so forth. And so that's, kind of like my Sir Charles, Jones's album. But now, going into Sir Charles, and as I'm listening to him, every now and then, there's some flaws. There's some things that, we can kind of, I'm not going to necessarily tweak, but I get the feeling that Sir Charles, when he plays around with different genres of music and incorporate those genres of music into his music, into the Southern Soul category, and into his albums, it's almost like you say to yourself, are you serious? And what I mean by not are you serious, like, are you serious? You got to be kidding me. This doesn't work. No, it's not that kind of are you serious. It's like, are you serious? It's kind of like you're playing around with it a little bit. Like you're not going the full mile. Like you're not taking us along the full ride. Like you want more out of him. You're like, come on, Sir Charles. Like, come on, man, quit playing around with this thing. Like, you know what? It's almost kind of like when you think about Ike and Tina when he said, man, if you just sing the songs like I told you to sing them, man. Just sing the songs like that's what I kind of get when I'm listening to Sir Charles. I'm like, man, come on. Like on record. I've never been to a Sir Charles concert, but on record. I'm like, come on, man, come on. Like, and that's when I bring up the Alexander O'Neal part of it, because if he is Alexander O'Neal musically, and if he's falling short from that category, it's because he's not putting the stank on the album. You understand what I'm saying? Like, man, just come on and liven those drums up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like tickle those ivories. Like you can do this. Like, why are you not doing this? Like, it's almost like you get the feel with him. It's like he's just want to just sit there. Like, oh, yeah, that's good. I like that. Like, I get the feeling like, is anybody in his camp after all of that time, was anybody pushing you, Sir Charles? Like, did anybody push you to say, I get the feeling like you're probably saying, man, that's good. Like, I like that. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm going to leave it like that. Like, that's cool. That's good. And some people are probably saying, yeah, that's good because it's good and it's great for you being in Southern Soul. But it's almost like you're falling short because you're not taking the song and making that song like playing around with it. You know what I'm saying? Like really like liven this thing up. And that's one of the things that I feel like he falls short in, is the production side of it. And the reason why I say that is because he does it. Like, he incorporates all of this. As I said before, you hear Anthony Hamilton, Zapp and Roger, Stevie Wonder. You hear all of these things and you're like, man, push this. Like, dude, come on. Like, you know what you're doing. You I don't know if you're not confident, or if you just like, okay, I'm good at it. This is what it is. And you're around people who have probably told you, oh man, that's good. And I get the feeling like, and sometimes that can happen. Believe it or not, when you are an entertainer, and sometimes people, what's the word I'm looking for? People probably are afraid to make comments. You sometimes, like I said, I know how, Erykah Badu said it best, be mindful, I'm sensitive about my stuff. So you never know when people are sensitive, and I keep that in mind as well when I'm doing these things. I'm like, people, sensitive, and it's not like people can't take criticism. I don't know if that's what it is, but sometimes, you just got to be mindful of people and their ideas, that they're giving to you. You just got to be mindful of, like, man, I don't need that idea. Because the next thing you know, open up another can of worms as far as somebody saying that was my idea. But I just don't feel like he's been pushed. That's it. I said all of that to say, Sir Charles, I think whoever was on your team, if you're retiring this year, I really truly feel like no one was really pushing you musically to do it. Okay. Now, since I'm on the album part of it, I can talk about this. I don't know why this didn't cross my mind. Sometimes hit albums, the executives, the executive of the record company, as well as the executive producer of the album, sometimes they start with the concept in mind. And I'm wondering, Sir Charles with his albums, all of those albums, did you just go in and say, okay, it's time for another album? This here's a song that I've been playing around with. Oh, it sounds good. We're gonna do it. But did you really? What was your concept? Did you have a concept in mind when producing those albums? And I think along the lines of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are definitely producers who are known for doing those concept albums. And the only one that's coming up out of my head right now will definitely have been, Sherelle's album Affair. Back in 1988, that was like a concept album. When they're working with Janet Jackson, those are concept albums. Like they literally sit down and say, what do I want to say? And that's where I am with Sir Charles. The man has so much to say. He does. And I think I got to an album where I didn't listen to that one because I wanted to wait. I think it's a gospel album. It's the last album that I came across. But I think that's another thing too. I'm wondering with Sir Charles is that, did you sit down and say, after all of these albums, what do I want to say? And I'm sure he did with a song. I'm sure of that. But I'm talking about with an album. Did you come up with concepts? And if I was to ask him about that, how did you come up with this album? What were you thinking? What were you going through at the time? But then again, he puts all of those things into that album, right? You get the feel at one moment in time, he is like techno funk, right? The Zapp & Rogers sound. Is that what that is? So it's like 1 minute on an album, he'll give you Zapp & Rogers on a song. Then the next thing you know, you can definitely tell he's in Southern Soul. Then you come back around, it's almost like, oh, that's Gerald Levert. That's an Anthony Hamilton song. And so all of those songs to me on those albums seems like they are not placed properly. Yeah. Then the other issue that I think I find with Sir Charles would be the background vocals. He spent his entire albums, for the most part, I think I can only find maybe 1 or 2 songs in which he was not the background singer. And I think that's another thing that come up short sometimes with Sir Charles' albums, is that he is the only background vocal on the album, which sometimes that comes up short as well. And I'm like, okay, did anybody tell you that maybe we want to get another background vocal, right? Like we understand that you can do the background vocal. Oh no, man, I'm gonna do it. Okay, well, I'm just saying it might work better. It's good. But it might be better or great if we bring some more background singers in as well, just to kind of spice it up a little bit, because no one is saying that he cannot do that. Like it's you want what's best for the song, right? So that's another thing that when I think about Sir Charles, music, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, but one thing I love that I didn't get enough of is when he got around to singing his duets with, the female singers. Y'all already know how I feel over here about stuff like that. Oh gosh. Like, I think it was one of the Scott sisters. Was it Latasha Scott? He has a song with her and a song with another lady. And I am saying to myself, like, yes, I love it. I love this song. And what I am finding out, it brings Sir Charles's music to life. When it takes it to another level when I hear him singing with another female. It reminds me, it takes me back to my Renee and Angela days, and my Angela Winbush and Ron Isley, and my Keith Sweat and Jackie McGee, and my Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle. Babyface and Karen White, Babyface and Pebble. You see where I'm going with this? Like, when I heard those duets with him, I'm like, man, like I need more of this from Sir Charles. I want more duets, more female duets with him. It's almost kind of like, you know, you're looking around and you look and you see Batman and you kind of wonder like, all right, there's Batman. I'm looking for Catwoman. You see, and it's the same thing with Catwoman. Like Catwoman show up, you're looking like, well, okay, Catwoman, where Batman in? It's like it's something that, yeah, it just works, and you look forward to it. And I really wish that he would have, did more duets with female singers as well. It seems like he, likes to keep, the guys around and so on and so forth. And that's cool. Sometimes, you got to be mindful of those things, especially, maybe he chose I'm just saying, sometimes you got to keep the peace at home. Like, what you singing with her for? Why y'all in the studio singing together? You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe he's trying to keep it cool. You already said in his songs, you already having, trying to, have, he got a makeup song every now and then, like, hey, I done messed up, don't leave me, I done stepped out. So maybe, you need to have no females on your albums because, they could open up a whole nother can of worms sometimes. But it was good to see that. I enjoyed it a lot. I definitely did. I have to tell you. Woo! Then that brings me to, again, going back to some fine moments. There are definitely some fine moments. He has some fine moments compositionally. Yeah, compositionally, some fine moments. And allow me to take you down there. I think his best production will probably be a song called "Take Care of Mama." I love it. Best production out of all of them. I'm looking for. I love when he did "You're My Latest, You're My Greatest Inspiration." Fine moment. That was a fine moment for him. It definitely was. The song, of course, "I Came to Party." I like that song because, again, it made me think of Stevie Wonder's campaign back in the day, "Don't Drive Drunk." He's talking about, partying, but do it responsibly. I think that's a great party track. I love that he did a tribute song or tribute album, and he did the song "Never Can Say Goodbye." And granted, he's not a young Michael Jackson, but it's still a good song. So, yeah, I love that a lot about him. There's another song on there. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go down my list, and I can't find the song that I'm looking for because I got all kinds of lists, so on and so forth. But that's pretty much what you have here, when it comes to Sir Charles. Now, I told you before, and I'm going to tell you when I hear I'm going to tell you about a particular song, and then I'm going to tell you the artist I think this song is a great song for. There's a song called "Natural Woman." Bobby Womack to me. "Stop Fooling Around." My favorite song, Gerald Levert. "If He Don't Love You" is a Gerald Levert song. "Love Machine." Love Machine sounds like that's kind of like that old school type thing. So I'm going to give it that category of Tyrone Davis, ZZ Hill, so on and so forth. Definitely. "Let Me See You Move It," Zapp and Roger. Definitely. "Tell Me How You Want It," Gerald Levert. "Let's Get It On" is definitely Tyrone Davis. "Lord's Prayer," Zapp and Roger. Baby Love." Baby Love, let me tell y'all something about Baby Love. Baby Love. When I started to hear, when the song started playing, and I'm listening, I'm like, man, that song sounds so familiar to me. Like, what is this? And I'm listening to it. I was like, Stevie Wonder. This song stood out to me so much so. And I don't go and read other artists' reviews. I like to stick with my own opinion about it, and if it's a hit, it's a hit. If it's a miss, it's a miss. But I was like, did anybody catch this? Like, let me go find some review on this song and see if someone was thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Stevie Wonder. And you better believe I'm not the only one that thinks that this is a Stevie Wonder song. So Baby Love definitely is a Stevie Wonder song. What a Good Feeling, Alexander O'Neal, Gerald Levert, Potential. Happy Anniversary, Gerald Levert. My Story, Anthony Hamilton. I Tried, reminds me of Gerald Levert's Baby Hold On. My Taboo, Anthony Hamilton. Destiny, Charlie Wilson. What Can I Say, Anthony Hamilton. Trail Ride, Love It, Anthony Hamilton. Candy, Cameo, obviously. And Party, Zapp and Rogers. Zapp and Roger, definitely. And so that's why I say he goes in and out of these different styles of music. And this is the reason why I feel as if I don't know if he's raising the bar for himself in the Southern Soul genre of music. And if that's what makes him the king of Southern Soul. However, when he did this, or as he does this, he does it where he plays around with it and doesn't follow through with it entirely, which leaves me saying he's coming up short. And I would definitely love for me, if he could, like, I need that one more album. I need one more album. Like, because I just feel like he done played around with me after listening to 3 weeks worth of music. I feel like he's played around with me, like he has tampered with the possibility that he could definitely be this big singer-songwriter. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to find something. Hopefully I can find it. I think that's it. But like I said, I got so much stuff over here, you guys, about this man and this music that I was listening to. Just hold on for a second. Hold on. Is this it? All right, I think I'm going to do it this way. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go through each album so I can cover everything because of the review. But I'm not going to cover everything because I'm looking for something and I probably will find it. So his first album was a decent album. I would give him that. It's a decent album. The Love Machine, I love all of those albums all the songs from the beginning to the end. I'm looking for something. Southern Soul album. I like that album. I like the song. He did a song called Don't Say No Tonight. We know what that song is, who that song is. That definitely was a good hour for him, a good moment of shine for him. I don't see the song. I don't see it. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I don't. It's all. I can always. I don't see it. Oh gosh, and that was my cue. My thing is about to. Hold on for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me, if you don't mind. Blah 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 blah. Hey, you know what? I've learned to just go with the flow. Things happen. And when they happen, they just happen. You can't control, and I'm not going to edit this out. I'm definitely not going to edit it out. Hold on for a second. I'm definitely not. Hold on. So all right, I'm back. I had to go grab something real quick. I'm sorry. I was about to lose all kinds of power. But anyway, so let's just kind of recap because I'm going into an hour and I didn't want to go into an hour of this, and I'm sorry. I might edit this part out. I might not. I probably won't. Whew. All right. So overall, in general, I would definitely give this man. He's definitely going to be someone that I'm going to talk about for sure. He's definitely in that category of singers that I definitely, admire. Um, and what I'm going to do is I came up with my own greatest hits, okay? And I'm going to post them at the bottom. Like I'm going to put my own greatest hits album for Sir Charles together. The Love Machine album, I like all of the songs from the beginning to the end. There's another album he has called, what is it? The Balladeer? Portrait of a Balladeer. Perfect, 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 perfect. Sir Charles, like that album is awesome. I love every song on that album, Portrait of a Balladeer. You did that one. You for sure did that one. There's an album he has, Sir Charles and Family. I love every song on that album. So there's 3 albums out of all of them that I would say are definitely my favorite albums out of all of them. And as I said before, I'm going to put together a list of songs I feel like are my favorite songs that I will put together is for, a greatest hits album. Is there anything else that I have to say about Sir Charles? Did I miss anything? Can I convince him to not retire? Here's what I would say. I would say, Sir Charles, believe it or not, brother, I feel like you have accomplished a lot. And if you say you want to retire, by all means, you definitely deserve it. Whatever your plans are, I really and truly do wish you great, success with those things. But as a fan now, like I am a legit Sir Charles fan. Like I can't say that I am, DIE. You got to be mindful of what you say on certain platforms. Fan. But what I will say, and when I say DIE fan, is because hard fan, is because that means that I would have to have followed you from the beginning all the way up to now. But what I will say is that definitely I am somebody who definitely will have Sir Charles's music definitely in rotation. It's definitely going to be on my playlist. That is for sure. From a songwriter standpoint, you choosing to retire, but you are a songwriter, I still would say, while you have a lot of songs under your collective belt, I still think that you have a lot to say musically, and you have yet to get to the point where you have definitely polished that. Simply because of what you have been doing with your music. I don't feel like you've been pushed enough, with that. And while you have incorporated different genres of music into Southern Soul, something about it still feels like it's coming up short. And I just wish I knew what that was. and maybe it's because this is Southern soul music. Like maybe some of it is not to be taken seriously, and if that's the case, job well done. Are you the king of Southern soul? Yes, but I guess I'm trying to get you up to emperor. Like there's you got Southern soul and you have the emperor of soul, and that's kind of like where I think you can get to, and I feel like you can get to the emperor of Southern soul simply by, you don't have to necessarily record any music, but you can definitely write those hit songs for other artists. And being a songwriter and a producer, you don't have to go on tour, my brother. You can just definitely just be like, all right, hey, I done worked on this song. I'm at home and I can collect the check at home. It is what it is. I'm 45 minutes into this, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have stayed around through all of the mishaps, I want to personally say thank you so much. Check out Sir Charles, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you go to a concert when he is in your city or a city near you. And I think that you should not get one ticket, but you should get 2 tickets. And the second ticket should be for someone like myself who's never been to a Sir Charles Jones concert. And guess what? You can give them that experience. All right. On that note, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And my motto over here is simple. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you should know what to do by now. Take care of yourselves. All right.